we're beginning shortly.
Meeting 10:42. We've already had prayers, so let's just get on with the show. All right, you've all read your packet, so we're not doing this verbatim. Approval of the minutes from February 27th, 2022. Any questions, comments? No, if not, I'm sorry. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as written? Cornell, may I have a second? Karen, sorry, I was looking straight back. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Let's move on. Pastor's report.
Hello. My report is before you. There's a couple of things I wanted to open to the floor for discussion. You see that our council met last August for a retreat. We put aside some of the everyday concerns of the church to look at big picture. Where did we think God was calling us in the next couple of years? They identified 3 major areas of service: for hunger and poverty in our community and around the world, a need for safe, enriching activities for youth in our area, and serving our aging population in our area. And so you'll see a list of bolded items underneath that and on the next page of things that we did that were different this year, trying to serve those particular needs. Some of those are newer programs like Bible breakfast and lunch and learn, and some of those are existing things that you've done before, like midweek Lenten services or Easter breakfasts, that we just tweaked a little bit to make them accessible and fun for our volunteers. These take an incredible number of volunteers to do. There are things that are not listed on here that you've done before that you did again, like Autumn Festival, and things that happened for the first time this year, like handbag bingo. So this is not a comprehensive list. The pictures that are shown that I'm seeing you guys looking at are great. These are from the whole year, and they are on a loop, so don't worry if you missed one, you'll see it again. There's a couple of things, though, that are on the table for us in next year. One is that we'd like to work more closely with Ridge Valley UCC, which is right across the street. Why have 2 Easter egg hunts when we could have one with more kids, more volunteers, less trial and tribulation, for example. But another that's on our docket to talk about is a dinner church idea. This is something that I fervently hope we don't vote on today. I say that because I think we need more time as a community to discern this. So council approved this idea to come forward to the congregation, as did Worship and Music and the Altar Guilds. And this is an idea born out of our 2 services. So I was told coming in as your new pastor, we want 2 services. This is something the congregation has discerned together. We need 2 services. And I actually really agree with that. You have 2 very different styles of worship. I don't see us being able to healthfully merge those 2 without one feeling like it's losing out to the other. However, I am not wholly convinced that we've chosen the right times for those services. So the proposal on the table, which is going to be brought to a couple of town hall meetings later in the spring, both in person and online, both during the day and in the evening, we're going to be trying to talk to you all about this idea of moving our 8:30 traditional service later in the morning. 9:30 was the proposal made. Worship and Music was even excited about moving it to 10. These are ideas we're going to keep talking about. This is because we're noticing that people are struggling to get here for the 8:30 service. That it might be a struggle to get up in the morning. Some of our folks aren't coming at all because they don't think they can make that on time. This is a concern for us, that it's not an accessible service anymore, that it worked at one time and maybe it needs to just be a little bit later. So that would be that same traditional worship service, just moved an hour or so later in the morning. The praise service in the proposal would move to 5 p.m. and we would serve dinner along with it. This would lean into what we've been trying to do with a kind of a coffee clutch-like service, and just lean all the way into providing a free meal. Part of this is because one of our focuses is hunger in our community. This provides a free meal on the weekend, which is a harder time of week to find a free meal if you're struggling with food insecurity. It's a time of week that also families tend to have less going on that evening. So we're struggling with families having sports practices and events on Sunday morning, and the thought was brought that we could just stand around complaining about that and guilting our parents, or we could just adapt and move later in the day and do this with dinner so families don't need to cook dinner for that night. They just come and eat dinner, and during dinner we would do this, a version of the worship service that we've been doing in the Coffee Fellowship area, leaning into the more contemporary feel of it while holding on to our Lutheran theology. There are challenges that come with this particular model, right, with this proposal. One is that we would be looking for volunteers to help us cook those dinners or to help cater those dinners. And we're talking very simple. We're talking spaghetti dinner, pizza, something simple with hopefully a vegetable and something filling to get you through the evening. The council thought that maybe one option would be to serve a hot meal once a month to begin with, and to serve kind of snacky foods further on as we get the feel for how many people are coming, and as we get some support for volunteers. Another thought was maybe Girl Scouts could cook a dinner for one of those, could be band together. I talked to Pastor Cruz across the street. They'd be willing to do one of the meals each month. So this is something we can work together with others on, and which we would be looking for grant support for as well from the Senate. So this is a rough overview of the idea. If we voted later in the spring to go forward with this idea, it would begin in September, and it would run for a full school year. And then we would reevaluate. Is this working for us? Does it need to be tweaked or changed? Do the times need to change? Is it not working for us to provide dinner? What's going on? So this is not an ongoing, eternal project, right? This is one-year experiment where we would reevaluate after that year in June of 2024 to ask that question, is this where we're being called? So I'm happy to take questions and concerns now for about maybe 5 minutes, Madam President. And then I do want to remind you that I am going to be sending out notices via phone blast, via email, and via newsletter of times you can come in. You can also always come in to talk to me during office hours, which are Monday through Thursday. Set an appointment if you really want to get me. Otherwise, I'm usually there. You can probably find me during normal business hours in the office. But if you want to be really sure, if you're taking time out of a busy schedule, do just reach out, send me an email or a text or give me a call, and I'm happy to set a time. We do want to hear from you. Your joys, your excitement, your sorrows, your frustration, your absolute horror at this idea. We want to hear it all, right? So is there anyone who has comments now? And we have a mic for you. I got it. I feel that this already.
Good morning. I, for one, would really like the 9:30 service. On one of those, it has a hard time with the early 8:30. So I'm in favor of that. Thank you.
than a 10:15 service right now? Good question, though. Anyone else?
How would combination services like today be handled?
That's a really good question. So Greg asked, how would combination services like today be handled? That's a really good question. It's something that the council would be discerning if we moved forward with this idea. It is likely that we would continue to do this in the morning after a worship service. We know this isn't perfect to do these combo days, but we trust that, like today, you can make a compromise for 1 or 2 services out of the year to try to come in at a time that isn't your worship service. So we would maybe even try to push it a little later for our folks that are having trouble getting up and prefer that 5 p.m. time.
Do you think we'll have any issues with getting like a substitute pastor for an evening service?
That's a great question. What I would propose is that if we continue to work more closely with Ridge Valley UCC, that Pastor Cruz and I would coordinate and make sure that one of us was going to be there to preach on the week that the other one of us was on vacation. In a really dire moment when both of us are unavailable, my hunch is that we could put together a good, solid liturgy like we do once in a while, where we do kind of like a lessons in music time, so we made sure Joe was going to be there for the week that I was not, and that both of the pastors weren't going to be. But for like the normal vacation, planning far in advance days where I'm not sick or something, I would expect that Pastor Cruz and I should be able to work that out. And this is one of the reasons why this really works best if we're working together. It's a great question. Anybody else have questions or concerns? Thoughts? Okay, we'll continue to think on this, continue to reach out. We will publish the times of those town hall meetings. And you're always welcome to come in and talk to me. That is all I have.
Since there are no other questions or comments, can I please have a motion to accept pastor's report as written? Mia, second please. Oh, I'm sorry. Brenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Passes. Cornell, would you like to come up and present your paper? I'm sorry, I caught you right in the middle of the shooting.
Yesterday I was thinking about this meeting and thinking about the relatively difficult year we had when we had acting pastors and pastors and one thing and another. And put my thoughts on paper and I'd like to share them with you. I'd like to offer my enthusiastic thank you to the call committee and the church council for identifying and preparing the call for Pastor Lauren Hayward Bruno. Thank you. Lauren Bruno is very well educated and seems to recall and use everything she ever learned. She's extremely bright as well as clever and resourceful. She's energetic and unafraid to try new things. In my 47-year history with the Lutheran Church, I've only been associated with one other pastor of any age or experience who came close to the attributes of Pastor Bruno. I'd like to share 3 things with you. First, a compliment to those who put Pastor Bruno on the pulpit. Second, Here's a warning. A young woman with her skills and attributes is going to go far in the ELCA and will not be with us for an extended period of time. We must respond with enthusiasm to Pastor Bruner's pastoral efforts and achieve much while she's with us, and we can. One day we may end up calling her Bishop Bruno. Third, it is not a secret that our membership and attendance are historic lows. This fact alone explains why we offer salary and housing for a modest $60,000. That's distressing to me. It creates a dilemma for us as we want to recognize excellence but have limited resources to do so. Finally, I offer here opinions about our remarkable young pastor, and I am unable to offer solutions to the problems that I mentioned. But I, for one, offer to make every personal effort to make St. John's the best it can be. God bless you.
Let's get on to the committee reports. The finance. They can read my letter. Do you have any comments on my letter? No, we do all committee reports together.
This is not a committee notice.
I am stepping down. Obviously, I've put my 6 years in. We will be. I myself am going to go woo-hoo after this meeting. It's been a long 6 years. It is very trying. We made it through. We survived. We are still open. Thank the Lord. Would somebody please give me a motion to accept my recorded?
What do we do?
Oh.
The floor is open for discussion, and I would just like to say thank you to Vicki for serving as president during some difficult years. I know there have been differences of opinion and all of that through the past few years. But can we give her a round of applause thanking her for her service?
May I have a motion to accept my report? I have Penny. Second is Luke. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. I have to oppose on okay. Finance investments under committee reports. Any questions, comments? If none, we are going to continue. Oh, I'm sorry, Cornell.
Are these
Wait.
funds able to,
So everybody can hear you.
are these funds structured so that they're able to take advantage of increasing interest rates?
These are they're not bank deposits. The best way to answer that would be it's not a bank deposit. They're more invested in their equities.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? If not, we'll move on to the next committee. We will do the motion of accepting all the committee reports together. So let's move on to the next one at property. There will be a meeting of property shortly. I would like to set up some cleaning of the beds so that just a few people aren't doing it. We need to get a group out. It's a lot of beds. It's a lot of work. Denise and Marge and Kim, Bill. Oh, there you are. mean, there was a lot of work to do. Elsie, I think you were involved too. Any questions or comments on the property outdoor? Moving on to indoor.
The only comment I have is that I'd like to look for either a partner or have someone kind of take over this coordination. It's hard when I'm working this much, but
Denise is looking for a partner.
somebody that would like to look out.
Hey, Kim.
Kim's offering, and there we go.
Besides Kim. Fairy godmother. Kim has jumped in and come in and like, when did that get cleaned up? Or when did that happen? And invariably, Kim. But mostly I just, like coordinating things, but, it takes, like I'm trying to contact an electrician and things like that. So, if there's somebody at home that you're home more, and you can make some phone calls to set up, appointments or meet some, a repairman here or things like that. Even if you can call me and tell me that you're willing to do that kind of thing. It's not so much us repairing things anymore. Lynn Fowling, although has done a lot in that regard and do everything. So give me a call. Give me a call.
For anybody who couldn't hear her, please give Denise a call if you can help out at least coordinating with maybe an outside. Miss Karen, you'll help? Beautiful.
Karen Ackerman.
Thank you.
Oh, Lorelei.
Lorelei, thank you very much. Your mom. Are you watching? You've been voluntold. Very nice. All right, we are on to social ministry, soup crafters, comfort crafters. Any questions, comments? I'll tell you, those people do an amazing a lot of work. I don't know if you ever had a chance to go see the amount of quilts that were given away. It's amazing. It really is. And the soupers, oh, that smell is, heavenly. I've popped in a few times and had that aroma. Oh, it's wonderful.
I get to smell it all day.
Oh, yeah. Kim gets to smell it all day, so I'm past her, so. All right. If there are no questions or comments, resistance, comfort crafters. Christian education. Comments, questions?
Come on out and buy a breakfast once a month. It's great. It's an intergenerational thing. I don't know that that's really here. But, if you're a grandma, bring a grandchild. If you're an aunt or uncle, bring a kid along. And it's designed to, inspire adult thinking and child thinking. So I think we're trying to do a pretty good job of that. It's really interesting, fun little things.
The grandkids have dubbed it Breakfast with Jesus. So, it's a lot of fun. Cemetery Corporation, there are 2 pages. The second page is the signage that will be presented to the active cemetery. We will be creating a smaller signage for the Hetrick and the old cemetery. It'll be very simple, just, dusted on, that kind of thing. Please be respectful. And yes, we did do an extensive cemetery gravestone or gravesite surveys. We are way under of what everybody else in the area is. That's why there's been an increase and an increase again next year. Questions, comments? Moving on. Youth group. Questions, comments?
What would they like to eat for dinner for real?
Ooh, we need a survey. What would you like to eat for dinner for real?
Very rarely do they actually sit down and eat no matter what it is.
Miss Sue?
I looked up the 10 favorite foods of kids and those tacos, so that's in my mind, and maybe I'll
Tacos?
You could get some interesting.
Interesting, okay. Any other questions or comments on youth? Memorial? The Memorial Committee definitely helped us out this year. I don't know if you remember the beautiful Christmas tree we had here? That was paid for out of memorial funds.
I know my committee has diminished quite a bit. So, anyway,
I said my committee has diminished significantly, so when I was doing soup one day, they said, well, look at your committee. So I have a bunch of supers that have come in as memorial people now, so which is very nice. And there will be a form now to fill out, if you have a request for memorial, it's in process, I give a rough copy. You can request some kind of memorial money to be used, what it would go for, how it would benefit St. John's, et cetera, and an estimate of the cost. So look into that if you have a request of the memorial fund.
and it's like,
If you want to join Memorial, go to Supers.
Okay, moving on to, that's all. Worship and music. Any questions, comments? Mutual ministry. Well, I'm sorry, Laura?
How do you, how do you join the choir stuff?
If you'd like to join the choir, you can show up. That literally is the whole requirement. Or you can talk to Mr. DeFranco over here. We do schedule the practices around the schedule of people wanting to be in choir. So if you have an interest in being there each week, right now I think it's 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, but it could be bumped to accommodate other folks' schedules. So if you're interested in choir, no worries. Come talk to Mr. DeFranco.
It's not this Wednesday, but it's the following Wednesday. That's the
Starting up next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, 10 days, countdown.
Okay, mutual ministry. Any questions or comments? Upper Bucks Conference and CEPA Synod.
I just want to add on to this, that to kind of let the congregation know that we are very blessed in that we had, even though we had a bumpy road in getting Pastor Lauren to, come here to be our pastor, the Synod works with the dean and with the information that the congregation provides to try and match up a congregation to a pastor when they're seeking. And with the fact that there are currently 36 congregations in the Synod that are in some phase of transition, and at last count there were 3 candidates that were available for call. So we have been very blessed that Pastor Lauren threw her hat into the ring, and that we were fortunate enough to be matched up with her. That's one of the things that Synod does for us, is to help us when we're in that position of looking for a pastor. And that, we are currently in a far, far better place than we were a couple years ago. And very blessed to have Pastor Lauren. So just wanted to pass that along with regard to what, Synod does for us. The other thing too is that I know there have been questions raised in the past with regard to the money that we give to Synod, and half of that money that we give to
International, ELCA. The other half gets used for mission support with, supporting things like Lutheran World Relief, Lutheran Disaster Response, with groups like The Well, which came from the Welcome Church down in Philly, but that help women who are homeless or who have been victims of sex trafficking, and to help them transition to getting out of that, dangerous situation. So those are the kinds of things that, our mission support money that gets sent to the Synod get used for. Just wanted to add that on.
Any questions for Pia?
Are there any other questions or comments about any of the committees? And people, please join any committee you wish. Just talk to somebody, they'll steer you in the right direction. May I have a motion to accept all the committee reports? Kim, Reardon, and Lois Gens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. The reports for groups. The Girl Scouts. We do sponsor 3 troops here, which is awesome. 4. I'm sorry, 4. That's right, 1 troop has 2 when they get together. Just a little plug to the Girl Scouts. Obviously, Girl Scout cookies are going on right now. Don't forget, we do have Girl Scouts here. Call somebody. I can hook you up, so can Karen. All right. Girl Scout Sunday is March 12th. March 12th sounds right. The Girl Scouts will be leading parts of the worship. They will be helping. They will be having snacks over on the side here. They will have cookies. So, keep that in mind. May I have a motion to accept the Girl Scout reports? Lynn, Sue, sorry, second, please. Aaron Ackerman, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. The treasurer's report is next. One thing I do want to say is thank you very much, Kathy. Your efforts and everything are well appreciated. Please give her a round of applause. You took us into the next century. You upgraded a lot of things, believe me, it's wonderful. The reports are a couple of centuries in there. Are there any questions or comments? Lorelei?
How many reports are there?
A lot. Right in the beginning of the thing, you can see the syllabus. We're getting there. We're close. We're close. I know the chocolate's calling you. No questions or comments? May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as written? Lois Gens, second, please. Kim Reardon? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Financial Secretary's report. Any questions or comments? And again, thank you, Barb, for putting together a wonderful report. Yes. There's a lot of pages. Okay. I'll let her do it. That's one. Any questions or comments? If not, oh, wait a minute, there was one correction. Oh, no, that's the financial secretary's report. Okay, no, I'm sorry, no corrections. May I have a motion to accept the financial secretary's report as written? Luke Dixon, second by Linda Good. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Yes. There is one correction on the approval of budget. It's actually the 2023 budget.
Okay, the 2023 budget is before you. One thing to remember is that the finance team and the council put this together in like October. We got a significant donation in about November. So we predicted a deficit that stayed. There's a couple of reasons for that. One thing, as Zach mentioned in his report, we are facing inflation. That means that staff salaries needed to rise for the first time in a while. They probably needed to rise a little bit before this. So our cleaning person, our financial secretary, and the bookkeeper. Bookkeeper might seem like a strange word for me to use. That's because we are so grateful to Kathy for all of her work and time. She needed to step down. And because there wasn't anyone in the congregation that we identified as having both the time and the desire to do this job, we went outside. So this means we hired somebody as our bookkeeper. The thing that distinguishes a bookkeeper from a treasurer is that we've taken the treasurer position and split it, because a bookkeeper cannot satisfy the role of a member who's a treasurer. That means the bookkeeper, whose name is Jennifer Feinson, is doing all of the really hard work for us that Kathy's been doing for so long. She is making bill payments. She is putting out reports for the finance and council to work on. She is going to be cutting checks. She will be doing all the nitty-gritty. We are going to be electing from council a treasurer, who will serve as the chair of the finance team, and who will sit on council as the treasurer. In an emergency, the treasurer would be able to sign a check in a way that our bookkeeper cannot sign checks, right? So, because of this division of labor, we have given the treasurer's salary to the bookkeeper, and the new treasurer, like our secretary and president and vice president, will be a volunteer position. So you're seeing a little bit of flipping around. That'll be reflected in the names of the accounts next year. This all happened pretty close to the end of the year, so that's why you're seeing treasurer instead of bookkeeper on that line item. There's another thing I'd like to identify for you all, which is that if you look at the income page, that's the first page of the budget. If you look at line 46,100, you go all the way to the column to the right, you'll see that we've estimated $0 for estates and endowments. These are donations, large donations that come out of somebody's will when they've died. You notice that in 2022, we received $60,000 in estates. So why are we estimating 0 in 2023? Look at 2021 and 2020. Those numbers are both 0, right? So our concern was that we couldn't, in good conscience, predict that not only would a church member die, but that they would include the church in their will. We certainly don't want to predict the death of any of our church members. And what's more, it takes a little special bit of chutzpah to predict that they'll leave such an extensive amount. So that was why the finance team and the council felt that it was best to leave that number at 0. Better to be in error on the downside than on the upside, right? And so we were trying to give you the clearest picture. So if you go down to the deficit on the last page of your reports, on the last page of the budget, you'll see that our deficit is $65,000. So our deficit comes almost entirely from that estates and endowment section. We've also estimated a rather conservative number, I would say, for the envelopes. Judging against this year, that was because we were pleasantly surprised by the end of the year. The last quarter was bigger than we thought, and so we tried to average those amounts a little bit and give you, again, a good conservative concept of what it could be. We're always trying to err on the little bit more pessimistic side to give you a really clear picture of what might happen, because we'd rather be wrong in the way that we were wrong this year, that we ended the year with a big surplus. If you're wondering where that money is coming from for the deficit, two places. One is that if you look at the last few years, the last 3 years, we've had a surplus. That means that there are liquid funds in our bank account that we can access to make up that deficit this year. We would not need to dip into the investments. The second place is that we hope you will prayerfully discern whether you are able to increase your giving. Even by $5, that would make an incredible difference to us. The third place that we hope to find some of these funds are in continuing to apply for grants. So if we do that 5 p.m. service, for example, there is a Synod grant that we can absolutely apply for. We've applied for it before, and we would hope to be able to receive it again. There are other sources as well. If we go in that route of providing this free meal, we would be able to provide a little bit more funding for that. So it's not a beautiful picture of what 2023 looks like financially. It's also not a sky is falling moment for St. John's. We're somewhere in between. The hope is that the programs and outreach and work that we're doing will excite you and excite the wider community. We'll continue to let you know where we stand. We're trying to be as transparent as possible with the finances. And I'm always happy to take a meeting with you. You're always welcome to come to finance team, which does meet with our bookkeeper monthly. And you're always welcome to step into a council meeting. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the budget. Madam President.
If there are no questions or comments, may I please have a motion to accept the 2023 annual budget? Mr. Cornell, second please. Chris Wall, all in favor? Opposed? Abstained?
We had one piece of old business from last year's meeting that didn't quite, this was my fault and not our lovely secretary's fault, didn't quite slip into the agenda, which was that there was a motion to start a Constitution Committee in 2023 to review our congregation's constitution and to make the necessary changes. For example, to allow us to do this meeting at least partially hybrid, where on Zoom people would be able to vote, or to have council on Zoom. Right now we've done a little bit of fun with that. Technically, according to our constitution, we're not allowed to meet by Zoom, which is really annoying because sometimes the weather's really bad and your council would be safer and better served by meeting on Zoom. So we do need someone to head up that Constitution Committee. So we're looking for nominations on the floor, and you can nominate yourself.
I nominate.
All right, Emily nominated Vicki. Do we have a second for Vicki? We have a second from Karen. So I'm going to hold that, and then I'm going to ask if there are other nominations on the floor. Well, no, this is nominations for the president, for the chair of the committee, right? The chair of the committee would then be responsible for assembling her committee. Are you still standing for chair?
Yeah.
All right, I'm hearing no other nominations for chair. So I'm going to close discussion. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Lorelai. Lorelai nominates Cornell. Cornell, do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
He does. Do I hear a second? Penny, seconded. Okay, we have two chairs on the floor. Can I have, are there any other nominations on the floor? council just come up for a second? We're gonna powwow for a second. We're just gonna chat, you, me, and Vicky, for a hot second. I promise. Talk amongst yourselves. To run as a co-chair team. So we are still going to have a vote unless there's any other nominations on the floor. Hearing none. All in favor of Cornell and Vicky running the 2023 Constitution Committee as co-chairs? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Oh, Andrew's abstaining on all of them. All right. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much to you both for being willing to serve. And I'm expecting all of you to get calls about serving on the Constitution Committee.
Alright, so old business. Any other old business that anybody can think of that we have forgotten? Alright, let's move on to new business. The election of council members, we would like to see 3. There are actually 3 open seats. Do I have any nominations?
You can nominate yourself.
I see Mary Ann.
Mary Ann.
Nominate
Cheryl Corbin.
Cheryl Furman did say that she is willing to serve. We would need a second.
Penny seconded. Any other nominations? There's been a nomination for Marge Fitzgerald. Do you accept this nomination? May I have a second? Mary Ann? Any other nominations? Yes, Karen? Kayla Ackerman, do you accept this? Very beautiful. May I have a second for Kayla Ackerman, sorry. Pia. Yeah, she's got to catch up.
Do you have a youth?
So we have historically had youth positions open on the council. That's a whole separate seat, so that doesn't have to be one of the 3. But if you have a youth nominee, you can nominate that youth now. Thank you.
Laura would like to. Karen seconded. All in favor? Are there any other nominations? No? Whew, very nice. Okay, we have to do these one at a time, so read off my list. Cheryl Furman. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Marge Fitzgerald. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. Abstaining? Sorry, who seconded Kayla? It was Pia. Thank you. Sorry, I went too fast. You're a little quick to type that fast. Okay, now we are. Okay, Kayla Ackerman. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Yes, Lynn, I'm sorry.
To make it simpler, we can make a motion to have the secretary pass a vote for unanimous ballot. What that means is that everyone
correct, so we're gonna move forward because we've approved almost everyone by now, so I think we should just move forward. This is not an incorrect way by Robert's rules.
So, I'm saying it.
And we have our last, we have a junior council member, Lorelei Hopkins. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Can we say thank you?
Yes, thank you very much for stepping up. Appreciate that.
Can I just say, it is often a struggle to fill every council seat, so thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who is willing and eager to serve. I am going to ask that if you have been elected to council or are currently serving for the 2023-2024 school year, well, not school year, council year, please do not leave at the end of this meeting. Please come up and meet with me. We're going to set a special meeting to elect officers and tell you all you need to know. So please do not leave if you were just elected or if you are still sitting on council. So this does not apply to Vicki or Kathy, but everybody else on council and everybody just elected, please meet me here in the front at the end of the meeting.
All right, we need to have either identified or, if you want to keep your position, the representatives for Synod Assembly.
Synod Assembly this year is back in person. Woohoo! Took us a long time. Synod Assembly is going to be May 5th through 6th. The dates just came out. He is looking at me. That's accurate, right? Yes, okay. Scared me there. Okay, so May 5th through 6th. You guys are so lucky because Synod Assembly happens in Franconia Township. Everybody else has to drive like an hour, and you all are in your neighborhood practically. So, you're in my neighborhood. So, I'm going to be fully clear. I will be writing a letter to the bishop later on this month confessing that I will not be here for Synod Assembly. So it is especially important that we have members of the congregation representing. This was some bad luck on Andrew's and my part coordinating a really big family vacation that we're taking. So it was not just our schedule that was taken into account. But, you know, they wanted me to leave on Easter, so. I thought Easter here was more important than Synod Assembly. So, we are looking, they typically say they would prefer to have one male and one female candidate. It's not a big deal if you said 2 women or 2 men, but it would be great to have 2 people. There is also a youth seat for this, which would be in addition.
So forgive me, I'm not sure. I know it's Pia, but who is your other person?
Yeah, these are each year.
Oh, each year. I am so sorry. Okay. May I please have some nominations? I would like 2. Again, what Pastor said, 2 women, 2 men, 1 male, 1 female. No. John nominated Pia. Do you accept? May I have another person, please? I'll tell you a little bit.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what happened. Oh, Lorelei nominated her pop.
Do you accept?
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly. All right. And you accept? Okay. Any other nominations? May I have a motion to accept Pia and Cornell as our representatives? Kim? Second, please. Penny? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Beautiful. We need 2 representatives for the Upper Fox Conference.
Self-nominate.
Pia just self-nominated.
I'm the
chair.
Who's the chair?
Just retired, Zach.
How much time is that going to involve?
We meet like maybe 6 times a year. You know, the last few meetings have been here at St. John's because we're pretty central.
if you accept Kia and myself as your representatives?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. 2 representatives for the LCT auxiliary. LC, are you self-nominating yourself? Sure. And Brenda Wall. Do we have anybody else who would like to be on that committee?
Immediate Telford.
Any other nominees? May I have a vote on accepting Brenda and Elsie as our representatives for the Lutheran community? Lois did the motion. Second, please. Sue? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? I didn't make a motion for. I do believe we're done. Anything else? Now's your time. Now's your chance to voice your opinion. No?
That's right.
Bingo. Speak now or forever hold your peace. May I have a motion to adjourn? Kia, second. Kim, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? May we please say the Lord's Prayer before we leave?
Gathered into one by the Holy Spirit, let us pray as Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. One more reminder to everyone who's sitting on the 2023-2024 council, please meet me down front before you get your snacks. Everyone else, enjoy coffee and snacks.
Thank you.